Well, hi. Today is Friday, February 14th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you've been out and found that perfect gift for your special someone. It got me to thinking of possibility of maybe some unique gift ideas. So if you're still looking, well, let's be honest, unless you're not seeing that special someone today or tonight, you still got a little bit of time, right? So maybe they can come into play, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Right now, I want to tell you about a brand new sponsor that we have. It is Avela Bank. Avela Bank with 2 locations in Council Bluffs, also located in Omaha, Sioux City, across many places across western Iowa, up into northwest Iowa, up around my old stomping grounds of Pocahontas. So there's a branch all ready to serve you. And what I love about Avela Bank is how they give back to the communities in which they are in. And they do that through the Avela Foundation. A lot of history with this. It goes back to the Carroll County State Foundation all the way back to 1966. They had a couple of different organizations and then merged them together in 2017. It is the foundation is 100% funded by Avela Bank and donations, and they get that money to qualified organizations who are all approved by the foundation's directors. The local market president here in Council Bluffs, Dave Zimmerman, is going to be joining us on the program coming up next week, so we'll let you know when that interview is there, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about everything that's going on right here in Council Bluffs with Avela Bank, and very happy that they have partnered with us here on Morning Coffee. Also coming up in just a bit, a fun and informative interview with Cindy Schmader of Service Master Restore by Schmader. We're going to hear some stories about some of the different things that she can run into with her restoration business. Also, some things that they do that I didn't even know were services that they offered. So that interview is coming up in just a bit as well. In the meantime, I want to let you know that Just Sue Creative can help you build your business with website design, search engine optimization, content creation, marketing, everything you need to take your company to the next level. Sue Pitts has a passion for small businesses, and she's been helping them thrive in a digital world for a long time, going back to her days with the Small Business Development Center. You know, a great starting point, just visit her website, justsuecreative.com. Schedule that free consultation. Sue helped me with my website, leshillsmedia.com. You know, she can help yours too. Visit justsuecreative.com. And also, the AIM Institute's mission is to grow a strong and diverse tech community through education, career development, and outreach. One way that they do that is through SWIFT, and that is an acronym that stands for Southwest Iowa Free Technical Training. SWIFT provides accelerated training for Iowans interested in a career in technology. It's all funded through the Charles E. Lakin Foundation, providing the funding, and participants can register at no cost to them. Next class is going to be coming up this spring. We will be telling you all about it. We'll be talking with folks from the AIM Institute very, very soon. Go to aiminstitute.org to learn more. With us now on Morning Coffee, it is Cindy Schmader from Service Master Restore by Schmader. And as we are recording this, Cindy, it got kind of cold.
It did get cold. It got very cold.
It got cold. Does it slow you down much at all when you're out there trying to get some things done? And I know that, well, with the snow that we had, that had to have affected some things. But just how much does the weather affect what it is that you do?
You know what? The weather does affect us quite a bit, actually. Like yesterday, the roads were terrible, so we didn't take our vans out. So anything that happened that was going to happen yesterday, we kind of pushed it off. And today the guys are out. But the bad part is that inside our van, we have water lines, we have water tanks and stuff like that.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
we have to keep the vans running. So it's always kind of and these new cars now, it's kind of crazy. We have to be careful when we buy cars because we have to be able to let the engine or let the vehicles run while the doors are locked. Well, these new cars don't let you do that.
Oh, there's a lot of safety features in there that, I noticed that and my car is a 17 and I was glad it had this feature, but I was unable to lock my keys in the car.
Oh yeah,
because I
yeah,
almost did it.
yeah,
But
yeah. And you know what's really funny is my car has that too, but I've locked my keys in it twice.
still
I have
managed to
no
figure it
idea.
out.
I figured out how to do it, I guess. I don't know.
I have one of your business cards here.
Oh, nice.
And the cool thing about this, and this was actually smart, of running down an entire list of all the services that you do that you
Yeah.
put on the back of this, because there were some things on here that, oh, I didn't know Cindy did that.
Oh, really?
And
Nice.
and so it's a really smart, not just a marketing tool, but also just for information,
Right. Yeah.
that folks can be able to do this. Such as one that jumped out at me right away was, vandalism cleanup, and I never thought about that,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
this can happen, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And if with that type of thing, I would guess more businesses usually, but it's not as if a residence is immune to that.
Right. Yeah. We've had a lot of businesses where they'll tag the outside of the buildings, or like we have one place that we go to quite regularly where they tag the wall. And so we just go down and we have a chemical we can spray on it, leave it set for about 10, 15 minutes, and then we just can power wash it off. Sometimes we have to do a little bit of scrubbing, but that is something that we can do. And we do it quite frequently. It's kind of amazing.
Well, and part of it too, I think most of that's done with an aerosol can, and
Yes.
typically that's an oil-based paint
Right.
that's inside of those things. Not
Right.
always, you can,
Yeah.
but you have to go hunting for the latex version of that. But
Oh, yeah, you
so
do.
yeah, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. I'm thinking of the time that I spilt paint in my driveway in the middle of winter and wasn't able to do anything till the next spring. I just
Right.
power washed it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with what you're talking about, takes a little more special services with that, and also making sure that you're not damaging the wall. There's so many different things to take into consideration, that before you just grab your bottle of goof off and head out there on it's better to
Yeah.
talk to an
Yeah.
expert like you, because you've been through this before and you know what works.
Right. Right. Because, if you use the wrong chemical, you can take the paint off. I mean, even power washing it, if we don't have it set correctly, then the
Hmm.
power washer, we can strip the paint right off a building. And, a lot of times we go in and we'll tell them up front what could happen, so everybody knows. But, I mean, sometimes it happens, and it's like, would you rather have a bare wall that we repaint, or would you rather have that stuff on your walls? So um, I don't know. It's been interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, being careful with power washers is important.
Yes.
A previous career of mine, and I had one, and using it, and people never believe me, but it's true. If I put the finest point on that power washer, I can write my name in your driveway,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
it'll chip
Yeah.
the concrete out.
Yeah. Oh,
And
absolutely.
that's how powerful these things are.
Yeah.
And even the ones that you just buy in the big box stores, it's
Mhm.
not as if you need a commercial power washer to get this kind of strength. So get it
Mhm.
into the hands of somebody who knows what they're doing.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Another thing that you had on this list, and this is something else that I had some experience with once, and boy, I wish you would have been available down in Georgia when I did this, is hoarding cleanup.
Yes.
And we don't want any of our loved ones to be experiencing this, and to have to go through this problem, but it is real, and it can happen, and to have a place that you can lean on to be able to help you with that, I think, can provide some peace of mind, because a lot of times you walk in there and I don't even know where to start. I don't know how to get around the outside of this.
Right. Right. And a lot of times what we do is we try to get a therapist involved prior to us going in.
Really?
They can sit with they can sit with the person, and that's kind of what we've tried to, some of our partner companies that we work with that we do hoarding cleanup for them, is we've gotten them into let's get somebody in there first, a therapist, so that you can figure out, why are they hoarding? Is it typically it's a trauma that they've had or experienced, or and a lot of times you can go into places and this room might be completely covered, but that corner doesn't have anything in it, and there might be some pictures of some family members or something that maybe they lost, or something to that effect. And so we try to get them to go to a therapist, and then we can go in when they're ready. Once the therapist thinks they're ready, then we can go in, and then we can do the cleanup, but we do it a little bit slower. It's not something you just go in and just get it done quickly. We go in, kind of talk to them, make an agreement that if it's trash, we can just throw it away. If it's something that we even are kind of iffy that maybe it's important to them, we'll set it off to the side. And you need to let them watch you do that, and let them become comfortable with you that you will really only throw the trash away and you will set their valuables aside. And it's, we've had people that we've gone into, it's like on the show, what you see,
Right.
they'll get upset and they want you to leave. I always tell people, you tell me when you're done. We have a gal just recently that we worked with, about 3 hours is all we could get out of her a day. And that was fine. 3 hours is fine. That was our max. That was our fine. We'd do 3 hours, off we'd go. And then I'd call her and say, can we come back tomorrow? Or before we leave, I would ask her, can we come back tomorrow? And she would say, tomorrow will be fine. But 3 hours was pretty much her limit. And you got to go at their pace. If you don't, then they'll do it again.
Yeah.
The damage is just, and then we try to encourage them to continue to go to a therapist even after, so that they can just get that help that they needed. And when I leave, I always kind of make the commitment that I'm going to stop by and see you in a couple weeks and see how things are going. And people are always like, yeah, and this lady, she's like, you're not coming back in a couple weeks. I'm like, no, I'll be back. I'm going to stop in and see her tomorrow. So she will be quite surprised, I think, when I stop in and see her. So
Well, and that's
exciting to see that.
that dives into a little bit of the business end of what it is that you do. And this is the type of thing that, and I've talked to people about this before, about, relationship building. It cannot be fake. It has to be legitimate. That obviously, yes, this woman is a client, but if you didn't care about her on a personal level, you wouldn't go back.
No.
But that also ties into the business end of it, that this relationship building is important. And it doesn't matter whether you see a direct result from every specific interaction or not. It's more of just a general philosophy of being able to do that. And the fact that you're going to do that, I think, speaks volumes about you, about your business, about how you run things over there, that you understand. You're dealing with people's homes here.
Well,
and it's important.
We are. And and also their mental state would, and I don't want to ever damage that or become I don't want to become another issue for them that might give them another reason to do whatever it is that they're doing. So in fact, I had a lady that called me yesterday and we did some work for her almost 2 years ago. And she'll call every once in a while and I'll say, how are you? And we'll just talk and she'll tell me things. And she's all alone. Her mom has passed away. Her sister has passed away. And she said, I know I'm your client, but I feel like we're friends. I'm like, to me, that is so heartwarming, because it's been 2 years now. And I just take a little bit of time out of my day to talk to her. And it speaks its volumes for her.
And I have the same thing, that I have people that I'm friends with that were actually clients first, and now we're friends. And again, it's not something that you can fake. It has to be genuine.
Yeah.
But it's an important part, and especially about doing business in the size of the community that we're in, because it's even more important that, if you are, I was having a conversation earlier, just about an hour ago, with someone about this, that I used to be told by a previous employer that if you charge more, you're respected more, and people will automatically assume that your product is more valuable. That's what I was taught, or they were trying to teach me. And I said, not where we live. That's not how you approach things. And again, there can be exceptions here and there, but where, living in a large small town as we do, that type of thing it doesn't work, and you have to legitimately invest in the community that you're in, even if it's just with your time, and just with what it is that you care about. And I made that connection with you very early, that I knew you had that same philosophy, and I think that's why we've gotten along. Because I know that it's a kindred spirit kind of thing, that you believe the same way.
Well, and it's kind of, to me, it's kind of frustrating, but at the same time, I'm like, I just think but I have people all the time will tell me, your competitor's way more expensive than you are. So then I just ask people, are you, and then I had one guy one time, he said, well, you have to pay for what you get. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I have a conversation with them. I go, competitor comes in, they have a conversation with them, inevitably I get a phone call back. There's just something that was said or done, or, you know, and they just call us back. So it's like, maybe we're not the most expensive, but I know we're not cheap either. So it's kind of one of those, I feel like we're in the middle,
Mhm.
but I do feel like our service is a little bit better, maybe.
Well,
Not
I'm looking at some of these
always.
other services that are on here. And so what I wanted to ask you about was some of these, is it some of these things that such as carpet cleaning or window cleaning or tile and grout cleaning, are these things that are just incorporated into a larger project, or are these things that you do as a standalone?
No, there are things we do as a standalone too. We have actually two commercial buildings that every spring we go out and we clean their buildings. There, it's just like a two-story. It's not
Hmm.
so it's not anything real big, but there's 316 windows
Oh,
that we
wow.
clean.
Hmm.
So yeah, we just start at, we got two teams. One starts at this end, one starts at that end, and we kind of come together. And so, and we've got some new people this year, so I'm kind of excited to get that going in the spring, so we can show them what we can do with that. So, because everybody's always like, why do we have window washing stuff? Just we'll use it. Just leave it. Trust me, we'll use it.
Is that such as with the window cleaning? And it's a two-story building, so it's not crazy, but is it inside and out? You just handling the inside of the windows? Are you set up to do outside at all?
Yeah, we're set up to do outside as well.
Okay.
So, and it just depends on what the customer wants. We can do as much or as little as they want us to do. So,
Once upon a time, years and years ago, before I ever got into even knowing how to operate a microphone, I had met a painting contractor down in southeast part of the United States, and he had me working with a crew on the outside of a six-story building.
wow.
And it was actually the Center for Disease Control building. But
Oh, okay.
at the time, now they're in a different place now in Atlanta, but at the time, that's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And so I'm hanging on, scaffolding, you know, with that is on the outside of this six-story building, and the kind that goes up and down with the cables
Right.
and starts at the top and goes down. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that outside stuff can be a little hairy.
It
And
can be.
yeah,
Yeah.
I actually did quick story with that. I made the news one
Oh,
day.
you did?
Well, because there was an electrical fire,
Oh,
and we were about 40 feet up, and because it's an electrical stage and the power shut off, we're stuck.
got stuck.
And they sent one of the local TV stations sent a satellite truck out, and I didn't even know that they were shooting video of us. They were up on a hill. I didn't even
Oh,
see
they
them.
were up. Oh,
Yeah. And when he finally got over and we did kind of a pre-interview because he wanted to put me on it, I'm like 21, 22 years
yeah.
old.
Yeah.
He
You're like
said,
that.
were you ever afraid for your life? And I said, oh, it was just the most harrowing experience of my life. I can't believe we went through this. And he said, yeah, you're going to have to do better because I got video of you laughing. So,
That's awesome. Oh, yeah.
so anyway, this is the kind of thing that I think that is good to get out because there's so many things past. We've talked about the fire restoration. We've talked about the flood restoration, or sometimes it's not a full fire, it's just smoke. And folks have to come in with that. But there's so many other things in there that your company does that I think is good information to get out. Mold and mildew remediation is not something typically attached with a fire, but can come in after a flood,
Right.
but still if it's there previous, so having the knowledge to be able to do that. I know that that's not a simple thing. There's a lot you have to know in order to do it correctly.
Yeah, it is. And, and with the mold remediation, one of the things that we do, we're a little bit different than probably most, is we have an outside company come in and do a pre-test
Mm-hmm.
and walk through, and then we have them come back and post-test us. And for me, that is kind of a reassurance that we did it correctly. Because I could come into your house and I could say, oh, Todd, your basement's full of mold. Oh my gosh, we got to just demo all of it. And you're like, okay, we charge you all this money, we demo all of it. You don't have a speck of mold. So, and I've had other people say, why don't you do the mold testing? Well, for me, I feel like it's conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm coming in, I can come in and see it, and then from there we make recommendations. If we come in and we can see it, I can tell where it's at, probably what it's even from. And then we'll have this other company come in, they'll write a protocol, we follow that protocol, then they come in and they post test it to make sure that your home is safe for you guys to live in. It's okay for you to come back into that basement or wherever it is that we're doing the remediation. And then also too on that is if, and I'm actually really good friends with the guy that comes in, but he is not afraid to pass me or fail me.
That's good news.
And that is, yeah. And that's just for me, I just think we're friends, but it's a working thing. If he doesn't fail me when I don't do a good job, then that's on him in the end. That's on his insurance if somebody gets sick. So I've always told Steve, please, if we haven't done it right, fail us. And he's right there. He's on it.
Again, the previous went back when I was still doing painting, and it was actually in my service agreement that if I run across mold, I will immediately stop. And I will come and find you, because I'm getting into places that a lot of people, if I'm painting walls and things in closets, I'm seeing places they're not used to. And I tell them that I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
Now, what they didn't understand is, well, why don't you just wipe it off and move on? Because that doesn't do a thing, know? And and plus, as you just said about, having someone that you can say, okay, this has been certified that this is okay. Because if I come in there and just paint over it, now I'm responsible.
Correct.
Now it's on me.
Yeah.
And because I had somebody that went through and, took a bottle of 409 and sprayed it on there and wiped it off. See, it's fine. No problem. No.
Yeah. But it also could be a sign of a more serious problem.
Yeah.
You've got a pipe leaking in the wall or, a couple years ago, we had a guy that he had bought a house. And his wife, after they bought it and they moved in, his wife had seen mold in their upstairs, or it was a basement bathroom. And so we went out just to take a look, because really thought it was going to be no big deal. Went out, took a look, and it ended up being the stack, the stack that goes out to the sewer or whatever, the sewer line, that had a crack in it. And it had been cracked for probably years. We ended up having to actually demo, I would say 80% of their basement. And it was it just killed me, because they just bought this house and he's like, this is our dream home. This is our retirement home. And I'm like, I'm tearing it up. They hadn't lived in it maybe a couple months, but we got it cleaned up. We had a guy come out. Steve came out. He tested it and we passed. And then they got the pleasure of putting it all back together the way they wanted it. So
well, and plus the reality of that is that you were able to identify and solve a problem that they didn't know they had. And it is bad news, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't necessary news.
Correct.
Because had you finished without seeing that and left, then who knows, at some point, the damage would have gotten to the point where you started to see colossal failure and structural failure.
Sure.
But you were able to take care of that. So that's where integrity comes in.
Well, and I think too, they had a baby. And so, a lot of colds, a lot of, sinus infections, things like that. And it's that's a sign that there's something in your home that's not safe for you. So that's kind of when we were like, okay, we're going to put on the brakes. Let's figure this out and go a little bit further. And literally what we ended up doing is the bathroom, we didn't touch at all. We went around to the bedroom and did a 2-foot flood cut on the bedroom side, so we could see the back side of the bathroom wall, so we could figure out what the problem was, because they really thought it was the toilet. I thought it was the sink. So we had a little bit different, and so when we went on the other side, we're like, oh, it's neither. We're both wrong. It's this stack, right? So it was, and for them or for him, and he's there in Council Bluffs and he's in business, and he will tell you, for him, very disappointed, which they bought a house that had mold in it. But the fact that we could come in and identify it, and we identified it very quickly and the problem. And of course, then we had to get a plumber in, and we had to get, so it did grow. But now they have a safe home, and they have 2 kids now, and they're growing and doing well, and it's great.
One other thing I wanted to talk about today before we wrap up is obviously our Council Bluffs Business Connection meeting, as we're recording this, was just earlier this morning. And what you spoke about was not specifically about your business, but it kind of was because of what's going on with insurance right now. And homeowners insurance and costs have skyrocketed we have had tons of disasters everywhere that are just, things are just, the insurance industry is really struggling right now because of how much they've had to pay out. But you as Service Master Restored by Schmader, you also deal with insurance companies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you knew about that information. So in some cases, these things that you're talking about are covered by insurance, and that's why you're aware of that.
Correct. Yeah, there's been a lot of, I think it was 11 $1 billion losses.
Wow.
In 2024. And of course, the LA fires were included in that, so it kind of spilled over to 2025. But it is, I mean, if you look at $11 billion, and of course it's across, the insurance industry, but that's a lot of money.
It is.
And, to recoup that, and I don't know, I mean, I guess we'll see. I don't know if there's some of the insurance companies that may not even make it. So they just had too much insured, but we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll be all right.
Yeah, get some calmness for a while, maybe, because we had the hurricanes blowing through, and then the fire, and Colorado's been dealing with a lot of fires over the years here lately, and there's just a ton of stuff going on, and I know my insurance is a whole lot more than I would think it would be, but it's what it is, and my insurance company is not trying to gouge me. I know that because I know the agent so well, but still, it's just reality right now, and that's why. But I think the key to this, though, is that as we said, a lot of the things you do, not everything, but a lot of the things you do, can be you'll take care of the insurance end of it and help people through that process too.
Absolutely, yeah, we will. We do. We help them. We help a lot. With Service Master, since we're a franchise, we're on a lot of the programs. And I know some people will tell you that you don't get the greatest responses or the greatest work or ethic or whatever you want to call it out of program losses. But you know what? Insurance companies will send it here. We come out to your house. We go through everything with you. You sign a piece of paper, says you allow us to do the work in your home. We do the work. We send it to the insurance company. A lot of times you pay the deductible. That's it. That's all you see come out of your pocket. And then they pay us the rest. So, I mean, it's sometimes we will have instances where we might not see eye to eye with the insurance companies. And then we just, I try to talk it through for you. And I mean, there are times when I would just be like, I've done my part or done my side. I'm not going to win this battle. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to go back and see what you can do on your side. So, but I always try to go to the adjuster first and try to see if we can work it out. 9 times out of 10, if you just call them and talk to them, it's communication. You just call and talk to them and tell them what you saw, why you think it should be covered, or whatever the case is. A lot of times those guys they'll come out and they'll walk through it with us, and it's covered. So.
She is Cindy Schmader with Service Master Restored by Schmader, and if you would like more information about any of these things that we've been talking about today, obviously go to Cindy's website. Yeah, the website's a little longer, but there's a simple way. I've got a workaround on this.
Oh, do you? Nice.
Yes, I do. Because here's what I've done is I have a landing page on my website, loshillsmedia.com, and if you go to the landing page for the Morning Coffee Show, you'll see everybody in there that's a partner with us, and your icon is sitting there, or your logo is sitting there, and it's clickable, and it'll take you right to your website.
Oh, very cool.
That will that's the simple workaround. But that's also is going to get you directly to, as opposed to going to the Service Master main page, you're going to get directly to yours. So that's cool. That's the advantage of that.
Very cool. Thank you.
Always great to see you, Cindy, and always great to talk to you. I'm very thankful for your friendship and for your partnership and for everything that you've always done to support whatever harebrained idea I may have. And
well, you've had some pretty great harebrained ideas over the last few years, so I enjoy that. So, but thank you for everything you do, and I appreciate being on your show and talking about our business. And
next week on Morning Coffee, we are going to be paying a visit to Garrett at GT Motors on 21st and Broadway in Council Bluffs. Learn about the process that he goes through in selecting vehicles to be able to bring onto his lot that he can then transfer and sell over to you. And they have that ever-changing inventory because Garrett's out of multiple auctions every week, and he's looking for that quality used vehicle for you. They've got trucks, a lot of trucks on their lot right now. Also large and small SUVs, passenger cars, You might even find a sports car. Check out their inventory at gtmotorscb.com, but do keep in mind that they probably have some different cars on their lot than what you see on the website, because they don't always get them up on the website immediately. Sometimes it takes a couple of days for the whole processing. So if you want to see the latest cars that they have in their inventory, stop by their lot at 21st and Broadway in Council Bluffs. They've got bank financing. They can even do on-site financing and buy here, pay here. It's all right there at GT Motors in Council Bluffs. All right. We've been telling you about the idea of unique Valentine's gifts. All right. So, yeah. And you know that the more traditional ones, you get somebody a card and maybe chocolates or jewelry or something like that. But there are some personalized one-of-a-kind gifts that I hadn't thought about. And this is the wonderful thing about the internet. You can dig up anything. There's no excuse for not finding something unique anymore. How about this? I didn't even realize that this was possible. You can have a star map printed from any day that you want. So how about this? You go back to the day that you first met your significant other, and you have a map printed up of what the stars were like that night. Is that not cool or what? You can have a storybook put together, custom illustrated book that tells the story of your relationship, or maybe a handwritten letter in a bottle. That's kind of cool. Then something that you can put on a shelf, and I'm sure would be very meaningful. You can have a wooden puzzle that spells out their name, maybe a special word put together. And this, I haven't actually found one of these yet, but it would be a very cool gift. It's a retro viewfinder. You remember those things? You put them over your eyes and you do this. Well, you can get these made in a vintage style photoreal with all your personal memories. How about that? Or there's talk of, they also talk about experience-based and adventure gifts, like going for a helicopter ride or a hot air balloon ride. I don't know that I'd recommend that right now. It's a little bit chilly. Another idea, maybe do an escape room challenge for two. That's really not my thing. To me, that sounds like just a lot of anxiety. But for some people, they love that type of thing. Do a pottery or art class together. That's always a good idea. How about a do-it-yourself candle making kit and create your own scent for the candle that kind of reminds you of your partner? Or do a giant personalized teddy bear. That's not quite as unique as it used to be. There's companies that do that right now. But anyway, just a few ideas that you could have done had you thought of them before today, because now today is Valentine's Day. And I didn't think about doing the show earlier this week. So yeah, I'm procrastinating just like you. But we want to, again, say thank you to Cindy Schmader for being our guest today on the show. And also, I should let you know that Garrett from GT Motors scheduled to be on next week. We also have some folks coming on from Heartland Family Service. We've got, as we mentioned, AIM Institute is going to be on very, very soon. A lot of great guests. If you have a nonprofit and would like to join me on Morning Coffee to talk about everything that you do for the community, just send me an email, toddstuder@gmail.com, and I would love to have that conversation with you. All right, we are wrapping up Friday's program. Thank you so much. I hope you had a wonderful week. Get a little bit of snow. We're expecting more again tomorrow. Keeps changing on the amount, but it is in the forecast. So keep in mind, we got to get our winter driving legs underneath of us, because we've had it so wonderful, and it's kind of fortunate all season, but now winter is finally here. All right, my name is Todd Studer. Have a great weekend.